What is up, YouTubers, gamers and hobbyists? Welcome to Bolt Action Maneuvers, the series where I am currently building bolt action stuff. In the future it'll be painting bolt action stuff, but also going through the bolt action 2nd edition rulebook, of which I have right here, or at least I have a small paperback version. I understand you can get these in hardback, and from what I was led to believe, I'll say that rather than told, it's a slightly scaled down version. Although that said, this is a thick book. Even the paperback, it's a thick book, so I can't see what they would have scaled back, but we'll see. It doesn't matter as long as we get the rules in. Anyway, we are currently on section movement, and I am currently in the process of building my first 6 Grenadiers, German Grenadiers. At the moment, I've got 2 which are nearly built. Well, they're built body wise, and I've got 4 without their heads and arms. But I will then be hoping to get all their accessories and whatnot on as well. But like I say, we'll come to that as and when. Let's get right to the rules then for movement. I want to start getting some of these rules in here. So, advance and run moves. Okay. Just make sure I've not... Yeah, because the last section was orders for movement. Advance and run moves. An advancing infantry unit can move up to its basic move rate. This is usually 6 inches in any direction. Simply move each model up to a maximum of 6 inches. Remember that a unit must maintain a formation, so once the whole unit has moved, no model can be separated from the formation by more than 1 inch. Fair enough. Remember that it is also necessary to leave a space between different units of more than 1 inch for the sake of clarity, as already explained. Again, that makes sense. A running infantry unit can move as described above, but at double rate, its basic move rate, i.e. usually 12 inches. Note that we permit our infantry to change direction any number of times during their move, allowing them to move around corners, around rubble, around other models and so forth. This does not matter so long as the total distance is not greater than 6 inches or 12 inches at a run. Straightforward. Yeah. Interpretation of friendly units. When a unit of infantry moves, we allow individual models to move through the positions of other models in the same unit, or of other friendly infantry or artillery units. Just move the models through their friends. We assume that individuals get out of the way to allow their friends to pass. However, remember that once a unit has finished moving, it must be more than 1 inch from any other unit, as already explained. We don't allow tanks or other vehicles to move through friends or to be moved through by friends. Vehicles must negotiate their way around friends wherever they are. Whether they are infantry, artillery, or other vehicles. Okay, that makes sense. I mean, you got to remember for game purposes as well, it's got to make sense too. Right, terrain then. At the beginning of the game, before choosing sides and deploying any troops, it is necessary for the players to rate the various terrain features on the battlefield as described below. It is likely that most of the battlefield will be clear or open ground, where troops and vehicles can move without impediment. Other parts of the battlefield, such as woods, ruins, waterways, and perhaps quarries, escarpments, sand dunes, or marshes, can be harder to move over or through. Remember, it is up to the players to decide how to rate the various features used to create the battle scene. There is no need to be rigid or even consistent about such things. For example, a light scattering of woodland might be counted as either open ground or as rough ground. Both are perfectly plausible. Okay. And then we're going to talk about the different types of terrain. Before we do that though, let's go camera down a bit and see what we can see here. Right, so here we are with all the stuff I've got here. And you only get 12 Grenadiers in the Band of Brothers starter set. So 12 German Grenadiers. I mean, that's fine. So first of all, I want to get the obviously the arms and the heads on of these guys, but I think it's best to put the arms on first. That's my understanding. I've got my clippers ready here, so just trying to get. Right, so this guy looks like he's carrying. Well, see, he's carrying a different type of gun there because I'm guessing he picked it up from the enemy. So why are they showing you this in the starter set where those types of guns you just ain't got them? That's alright. Just a matter of knowing. Right, you see, he could be carrying that gun too, couldn't he? Oh, we've got the Tommy gun there. We've got the Tommy gun. Right, okay. Quite like, I call it a Tommy gun. That's because it looks like a Tommy gun and I don't know what it's actually called. That's pretty sweet. I quite like that. Also looking at the bullet things. Right. Well, I can always build that a different way next time. So I've got another sprue of these. So I will build these one way and the other sprue another way. I think that's how I'm going to do it. So it's not a Tommy gun, it's a Ppsh Submachine Gun. Okay, so shall I cut that out there? So it's a captured weapon. And you'd be crazy not to make use of captured weapons, wouldn't you? You just would. Although, yeah. Whew, that's tricky, that's tricky. Move that over a bit. Yeah, it's what arm he would use. See, I'm looking for. There's only on this sprue. There's only one. That I can see. Oh no. There we go, there it is. So there's the right arm as pictured. I think that's his left arm as pictured. Right. So we've got that. So let's try. We'll clean these up first. Starting with the gun. So it's Sunday today, that day of recording this. Okay. So I'm back to work tomorrow. So this is the the last of my 2 days off, my 2 rest days. But I've really enjoyed them. Still enjoying this one. Still a long way to go. Right. Okay. There's arm going right. They're quite small because they're kind of, well, compared to Warhammer, they are true scale. not heroic scale, but they could be a little bit heroic. I suppose some of the hands are probably disproportionately large for the scale, but we forgive that. Okay. Just going to score this arm a bit here. Now, how would he... Right, so he was carrying it like that, wasn't he? Yes. Okay. Right, the beauty of plastic is you get a bit of wiggle time, don't you? So we're going to use that to our advantage. When I first started the hobby, as in, you know, any wargaming hobby, and I was gluing these plastic models together, you know, Space Marines, and I thought, you know, I had to sort of stick it straight away, had to be right immediately, and so it was a bit of panic. I didn't know you had quite a bit of wiggle time. In fact, it's good to have a little bit of wiggle time. Good to have the glue on there for a little while. Yeah, so it's not like, oh no, you've missed the boat. A bit like you do with super glue. You've got to get that in position pretty quick. I suppose the quickest glue drying time for me is hot glue guns. I'm just going to try and put this. Excuse me a moment. Just move my other station out of the way slightly. Give me a bit more room here. Now, I think we can pop that here, like so. Then we'll clean up his other arm. Yeah, this I remember was one of the things I wasn't overly keen on with bolt action, but it would be the same of any World War II driven game. If I was using plastic miniatures, they were the same sort of true scale. I would struggle with getting like the arms and whatnot on. I would. I just know I would. I'm just going to score this one. Pop some glue in on there. And then I'm going to pop some glue in on there. And we're going to try and wiggle this around. God, wow, this is not easy. Yeah, this is one of the things I wasn't keen on. I quite liked the metal miniatures, as I recall. God, how do they do it? How do they do it? So you literally see me struggle here now. God, This is difficult. Yeah. Not easy, but we've done it, more or less. I will live with that. I will live with that. Let's get a head on him then. What sort of head do we want? Use that one, I think. Right. Yeah, I do seem to remember I had a couple of metal characters or commanders or something last time I was into it. I just painted. I was able to just obviously clean up the metal, but just paint them straight up with no assembly. That was glorious. That was great. Right. Around his neck. Yeah, so I won't be going for this model next time, not this pose. Got like some bazooka thing strapped to his back. Yeah, right, so that's him done. What bazooka thing has he got strapped to his back then? That. That's cool. That is cool. I like that. Right. Yeah, I reckon their grenades are in these pouches. Okay, so we've got 3 sets of legs. Next, let's go on to our first type of terrain. I will read that to you. So you've got the terrain which you agree on beforehand. So these are the different types, or this is one of them. The first type of terrain is classed as impassable. Some features on the battlefield can be rated as completely impassable. This means all units must go around these features. No units can move onto or through them. The most obvious examples would be a steep gorge, a soaring rocky crag, a large body of deep water, or a very high and substantial wall. Other things that might be considered impassable include wrecked vehicles, collapsed or burning buildings, dangerous marshes, quicksand and fortifications that are intended to present impassable barriers to the enemy. Cool. Rough ground is another one. We use the term rough ground to describe areas of terrain that are difficult to move through and which will therefore slow down troops and in some cases prevent them from moving altogether. Different kinds of troops are affected in different ways, as shown on the table overleaf. Infantry are only allowed to move through rough ground by means of an advance. For example, they cannot move through at a run. The sort of features that would typically be rated as rough ground include dense woodland or undergrowth, loose ground such as deep mud, sand or scree, and areas of ruinous buildings or rubble. Obstacles. By obstacles we mean things such as field hedges, dry stone walls, ditches and perhaps streams or other waterways that present a barrier to movement. Obstacles are used to the opposing army useful to the opposing armies because they make troops difficult to see and often provide cover. Infantry are only allowed to cross an obstacle whilst advancing and not whilst running. Other kinds of units are affected differently, as noted on the table below. Then we've got buildings. We will consider buildings at greater length in their own rules section. Buildings can include domestic houses, industrial buildings, and military installations such as bunkers or pillboxes. We normally allow infantry to enter and fight from within buildings, but some players are happy to treat buildings as impassable in order to simplify matters. I mean, you could do that. This is up to the players to decide for themselves. Yeah, it's entirely up to you, isn't it? And the last one type of terrain is roads. If you are fighting around a village, in the outskirts of a town, or even around a farm or factory, it is likely there will be roads or lanes or to facilitate transport within and through the area. Although these roads make no difference to infantry, they enable vehicles to move more quickly, as noted on the table below. Next, we'll come on to a terrain table, and there's a top secret thing moving off. Actually, we'll do the moving on and off the table. Moving on or off the table. Moving on. In some situations, models will begin the game off table, which means they are waiting behind the area designated as the battlefield, or perhaps they are executing a flanking maneuver off to one side. When these units move onto the battlefield, the player picks a point on the table edge and measures the units move from that point. Units that move onto the battlefield must be given an advance or run order to do so, but note they are not allowed to make an assault upon enemy units in the same turn. We will explain how assaults work later on. And moving off, units cannot voluntarily move off the area designated as the battlefield, except in circumstances where the rules specifically indicate otherwise. Where a unit is allowed to move off table, it is removed in its entirety as soon as any of its models moves into contact with the table edge. And like I say, we will go through the terrain table. It's some great artwork here, though. Beautiful. Right. So we've gone through the different types of terrain. Pretty cool, pretty cool. I've got a coffee as well, by the way. So now, I think that's in there. Ooh. Trying to make them look a bit like they do here. I don't know. This guy might be quite cool. I think he's... No, he's not. That's down there. I think I'm going for this type here of arms. These arms that are two together look pretty cool. They look a little easier to do. That's, the proof will be in the pudding though, so we'll see. Sounds like I missed quite a good convention at Exeter the other day. Had Legionnaires or Legionaries 2022. Like I said, I just couldn't justify it with my, with my pay being set up, and moving over to monthly pay and so on. But the time is rapidly approaching when I'll be able to get back to these conventions again. Right. Just tidying up a few mock lines here and there where I spot them. Yes, I think that's this one. Yeah, so it looks, and that looks a lot easier to attach the arms to. Brilliant. Yes, if only they could all be this. I wonder what the easiest army is to build from Warlord Games. And what the hardest one is. I expect that's ranked on YouTube somewhere, isn't it? Okay, another head. The head will be in good shape. Yeah, these take time, these little finicky ones. I'm actually really looking forward to the building of tanks and the things, because I'm assuming parts won't be quite so small. I'm sure there'll be little bits here and there, but this finicality, is that even a word? If not, I've just made it up. Finicality, this finicky situation which I find myself in, shouldn't be as prevalent with tanks and vehicles. He says shouldn't be. But we will see. We will see. Right. There. I think that's not bad. Not bad. That's, I've obviously got to do all their accessories yet. And that's fair dues. What about this one that's carrying the grenade thingamajigger? He looks pretty good. Or can we just can we just do this? Another double armor here. Oh, let's do that, shall we? Double armors are good. I like them. Yeah, we like them. I mean, once they're built, these models are fantastic. So once I've done this set, I'll probably be more used to building the Germans or the Grenadiers from this sprue, and then I'll be done. Load more. There's a lot more US airborne to get through. What time are we at here? 29 minutes already. I'd like to get something done on each of these models if we can, and I'd like to get through to the next section. Rules wise, so I mean that's what these videos are kind of about, is the rules as well. Bolt action reloaded. We're reloaded. We're lock and loaded. Going at it again. That's what we're doing. That's how it works. This guy's got like a flat cap hat thing going on. Must be like an officer or something. Scoring. Where the arms are going to go. There we are. That's one. That's two. Right. That flat cap job. I only see one like that, so we'll use that one. Don't worry about me just yapping to myself here. Sorry about that. I tend to do that more when I'm more unfamiliar. The more unfamiliar I am with something, like a sprue for a model, the more I talk to myself. I know essentially I'm talking to myself anyway. That might not make sense to some of you, but I'm not addressing anybody else. I know what I mean. I'm sure you do too. Come on. Right. spotless armor. We'll get back to the rules. Yeah, that's not bad. Leaves one chap left, but I'm gonna go through the rules. So we've got a table, a terrain table. I don't know if you can see that there. Let's go for it a little bit. The terrain table indicates how different kinds of troops are affected by different terrain. So it's got your terrain category, whether it's open ground, rough ground, obstacle building, or road. Then it's got the infantry. Whether they're okay or they can't run or whatever. Then artillery, then wheeled vehicles, then tracked vehicles. And then it's either okay, no, or the unit cannot enter with an exception and that kind of thing. It just tells you on the thing. The artwork I was telling you about here, that's the 3rd Grenadier Guards Counterattack by Peter Dennis. Very cool piece of artwork there. And that brings us on to shooting. So we've covered the movement. Pretty straightforward, huh? So we're just going to have a look at our last and final guy here. I think, yes, it's another double armor. Yes! We like this. Oh yeah. We certainly do. So I can literally stop this video. So we're on shooting next, guys. And I'll say that again right at the very end. And this is cool because, if you're going through rules and you don't want to listen to them again if you've read through it, like you say, I've read the rules on shooting, you can skip the next video then if you want to. But you know me, I'm happy to have you along anyway. So that was a really short section movement. Obviously there's going to be like exceptions and all that kind of thing, but just by and large the basics of it, that's awesome. That is awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to start setting up a little training table, I'll call it, for bolt action. And of course, like I say, I'll only be using the models from this starter set. Just try and get my head around some of the rules. It's going to be good. Okay. Just scoring the areas where the arms are going to go. Now I've been thinking about the colours or the painting aspect of these Germans, and obviously you've got like early war, late war, and all that kind of thing, and winter, desert. So what I'm going to do, rather than have all these different weird and wonderful things, I'm just going to paint my Germans in the generic German colours, and because I'm happy with it, I'll be able to use it in any theatre, if that makes sense. It does to me. That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah. So again, a lot of extra heads on these sprues. So you got lots to choose from. Similar, it reminds me to the old Space Marines tacticals, and that you used to have all these options you could choose from. yeah, it's nice to have the choice. I do appreciate a picture of, you know, like one way of doing it. And I think, do I like that? Yeah, yay or nay. Like the next 6 of these I do will probably be slightly different. Or any ones after that, because I think I've got another sprue of these guys. Yeah, once this is on, it's just a matter of putting the accessories on them then. Yeah, I'll let him dry there. Right, excellent. What other accessories do we need or have? I mean, this one is long dried because it was done a couple of weeks ago, or at least well over a week ago. Well, we've got the one with the Tommy gun, as I call it, which, you know, obviously isn't a Tommy gun, but one with the Tommy gun that isn't a Tommy gun. He's got that grenade thing strapped across his back, which we can certainly do that. Yeah. Trouble with these is they're quite thin. You've got to be careful. It's like spears and aerials on vehicles, things like that. They all pose very similar risks, as it were. Right. Alright, that's fair enough. Right, I'm going to pop this accessory on and then call it a day, because although they're not completely finished, they are whole and they're built. They've got their arms, legs, heads, whatever else on there. Right. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, that's good. Okay, my glasses are coming off. I'm going to zoom out back to me. Well, that's another bolt action maneuvers video done. As I say, we're on to shooting next. I'm just going to have a quick look at how big the shooting section is. Quite a few pages. It's quite a few pages. So whether I build on the next one, or I don't know. I'll let you know though. If you don't want to just hear me go on about rules, but we'll see. It might be done in two parts, shooting part 1 and part 2. So yeah. All right, guys. Thanks ever so much for watching. Time we're at 43 minutes. That's not bad. Remember to like, share, subscribe, all that other stuff. Or dislike if you dislike, that's fine too. Comment would be good, and let me know what you think, because I have no feedback else with which to try and better myself, or whatever. And yeah, so see you on the next video. Remember, all brushes lead to war. Bye for now. Bye bye.